So the Ukrainian people want what we want. They're defending their children, their freedom. I think it is good for us freedom-loving peoples to hang together and provide them the defensive weaponry so they can defend their territory. But again, I want a full accounting. And in response to the wild charge of Lieutenant Governor Barnes, the FBI set me up with a corrupt briefing and then leaked that to smear me. I am. No, I mean,
I'm sorry.
The FBI set me up, and he got laughed at.
Let's talk about it. I mean, he is referring to corruption with the FBI, which I've been trying to uncover and expose.
All right. So, do we have time for, please, audience, please, we're trying to get through these. We have time for one more question?
Do you think we're stupid? Do you think we're fools?
1 minute response.
Last year, the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Commission reported ginseng export totaled more than $19 million, the #1 consumer being China. Since the trade war started by the Trump administration, one ginseng farmer that we visited in Wausau is concerned that if the tariff issue is not addressed, he and many other central Wisconsin farmers will go out of business. Mr. Johnson, how can you assure them that this is a priority to you?
Well, under the previous administration, I worked long and hard with the Secretary of Commerce to free up those trades so our ginseng farmers could export their product to China. I was not a real fan of the trade wars, but I fully understand.
Oh, they're not wasting their time. They're legitimately investigating them, I would assume.
So from my standpoint, the way you discipline China is you need to get the rest of the trading world hanging together, cooperating, and imposing rules on China. What we also ought to do is we ought to reinitiate the China Initiative, which was what President Biden canceled, is a Department of Justice investigation program to try and track down and investigate Chinese theft of our intellectual property on universities. You know, why did President Biden cancel that? I have no idea. Could it be because he's compromised because of his son's business dealings with China? Might just be the case.
Mr. Barnes, how would you assure that this is a priority to you?
I would assume he's being investigated for his role in January 6th.
Farm back in 2019, I want to say, and I asked about the tariffs and the impact. And he looked at me and said, "Are you asking if these tariffs are going to be the death knell of rural America? Because if you are asking me that, the answer is yes. Our family farms, our businesses, manufacturing has taken a hit because of the tariffs. And when the former president implemented those tariffs, Senator Johnson wasn't there to stand up for our family farms. He wasn't there to stand up for our small businesses. The reality is Senator Johnson has benefited personally from Chinese investments in different companies. Now, what we need to do is make sure that we are on level playing field when it comes to any of our trading partners. That means a set of labor standards. That also means a set of environmental standards so that people aren't getting over on us. And we need to make sure that the American worker and the Wisconsin farmers put first in any of these trade deals.
Mr. Johnson.
All right, clinically, I'm a pothead sometimes.
Once again, I don't know where he gets this stuff. He just makes it off. Again, he's a performer. He's an actor. The
makes it off.
Roll off his tongue. So again, I caution all of you: take everything that Lieutenant Governor Barnes says with a huge grain of salt.
All right, we are down to one final question here, and both of you have said a lot tonight.
The final countdown.
When we traveled around the state talking with voters, we heard repeatedly from people tired of divisive politics and attack ads. So our final question here tonight is, both of you have been successful in life. You have 30 seconds here. Mr. Barnes, you go first. What do you find admirable about your opponent?
Ooh.
Well, no, seriously. I do think, the senator has proven to be a family man, and I think that's admirable. That's absolutely to be respected. He speaks about his family. He's done a lot to provide for them. I absolutely respect that.
Mr. Johnson.
I mean, likewise, I appreciate the fact that Lieutenant Governor Barnes had loving parents, a school teacher, father that worked third shift, so he had good upbringing. I guess what puzzles me about that is with that upbringing.
The both parents thing kind of sounds like a dog whistle.
Why does he find the founding of America awful?
We did not.
Well, no, seriously. I do think the senator has proven to be a family man, and I think that's admirable. That's absolutely to be respected. He speaks about his family. He's done a lot to provide for them. I absolutely respect that.
Mr. Johnson.
I mean, likewise, I appreciate the fact that Lieutenant Governor Barnes had loving parents, a school teacher, father worked third shift, so he had, good upbringing. I guess what puzzles me about that is with that upbringing, why is he turned against America? I mean, why does he find the founding of America awful? It's
Somehow,
it puzzles me.
we did not.
I said,
Please,
we
Audie.
said something admirable.
So-
And it is now time, somehow we have made it to the end of this debate for closing statements, and I appreciate both of you gentlemen.
Ron Johnson took a question, what he found admirable about his opponent, attacked his opponent in that question, and then said he would be a unifier and bring people together. Just the audacity, the caucasity to pull such a move. Wow. And I believe the moderators called him out. And like Barnes not saying anything about it, he looked like the stand-up guy. I think Ron looked shitty in that exchange. I give that one to Barnes again. I gave the first one to Barnes, but apparently Ron Johnson's polling has gone up since the first debate, so I don't understand it.